Hey, this is Colin Crandall from the MMA Power Hour, brought to you by iFluxy Studios. The MMA Power Hour is a show produced by fighters, coaches, and fans of our sport of mixed martial arts, so it is dedicated to anyone out there involved. We have top contenders as well as world champions. We have legends and Hall of Famers in our sport. They're talking about themselves, how they got to where they are, who they are, what they're about, what projects they're involved in, as well as predicting huge upcoming MMA fights and a lot more. Let's get ready to feel the power. MMA Power Hour brought to you by iFluxy Studios. Welcome to the MMA Power Hour. Thank you so much for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. We were trying to get everything going here. We had a couple of unavoidable delays, but we are here and ready to provide a great show for you and have an excellent time. Great information, fun talk, and a really entertaining MMA Power Hour show. Look over there and we see the great Dr. Adam Roorda is with us, roaring like a lion. How are you feeling today, Doctor?
I'm doing all right, doing all right. Thanks for bringing me on air again, once again, always. I am super stoked to be on this show with you every single week now coming up, and it's just super exciting. So if it's all right, if I may, just kind of give everybody a rundown of where we're going today. We're going to share a little bit about Invicta FC 25 that we visited, and we were able to sit press side, and then also give you all a little bit of some Mark Dodson. We had him on previously, and he just had some Skype issues, and we got it figured out. We've been able to Skype with him here recently and test it out and make sure everything works. So we're good there. And then also, Colin and I want to give you a little rundown of our show and exactly where we're going to go with things in the future, so that way everybody can be on the same page as us, see where we're going, and run with it with us, because we love your guys' support. Before I get back to Colin here and hand the reins over to the man with a plan, I'm going to go ahead and just I just lost my train of thought.
No problem. You throw it back to your host, Colin Crandall here, and I'm happy to catch that ball. Just caught it. Excellent. I appreciate that, Dr. Adam Roorda. So we've got a great show. We're going to have an interview coming up with Mark Dodson, and we know that one question on everyone's mind: why is it 30-some years ago that Dodson changed its name to Nissan? Am I right? We've been waiting. We've been waiting for that one for a long time, and I think we may have that answer, or may not, from Mark Dodson. I think the spelling is different, but anyway, that's a little bit of humor to start off the show with. So we were at Invicta 25 at the Tachi Palace Casino in Lemoore, California. It was awesome. We've got some great interviews from there. We were going to have an interview I did with Julie Kedzie for about 10 minutes. Excellent interview. After the show, that is unfortunately delayed. We had a problem rendering it, or whatever it is with the technical stuff there. Yeah, but we're going to be rendering it perfectly and having it ready for our Wednesday show, September the 6th. So look forward to a great live interview in person at after the Invicta fights with Julie Kedzie. We've got the other ones here. A lot of great stuff to go over, and a lot of information. Not only that, but I'm going to recap yesterday's UFC fights in Holland, and maybe even go over a few other things as well. And so I think we got a great show in store for you here, if I could talk on a Sunday. And let's jump on in and get ready. So Dr. Roorda, that was a good time we had over there cage side in the press section of Invicta 25. I enjoyed myself. I think that was some great action. The women really throw down, don't they?
Oh man, I would never step in a cage with them. I would step in the cage with a lot of men, and I would not with these ladies. To me, they're more badass than most men when it comes to to fighting for sure.
Yeah.
And really, I was super impressed with the lineup. There's a couple people in there in the undercard that really, really impressed me, as I know that there were a couple there that impressed you as well. We didn't necessarily share the same thoughts on all of them, but a couple of them. And you know, that being said, one of the big ones that you were talking about that kind of got you excited on the undercard was Callie
Robbins.
Robbins.
Yep.
There we go.
Yes, and speaking of which, she was at first scheduled to be on this show, but she is going to be with us on the Wednesday show. So not only will you see the live interview with Julie Kedzie that I conducted in person, but you will see Callie Robbins on the show here in a great in-depth interview. She is lighting it up with that amazing 42-second submission as an underdog against the very, very tough Sharon Jacobson. So we're looking forward to having Callie Robbins here in a great in-depth interview on Wednesday. So don't miss that show. We'll be here at 6 o'clock Pacific on Wednesday, and really looking forward to that. So what we want to do now, I think, is get some of these the live interviews queued up. Am I right about that, Doctor? Or do we want to...
Well, yeah, let's just kind of go fight by fight. I'm remembering which ones. We just got a couple here. One excellent one, obviously the most anticipated out of the bunch, probably. We have an overview or two overview, or post-fight overviews, and then we have one interview for you. And it's just a little bit to show you the direction of our show, where we'd like to go. We'd like to do this for every episode, and we're just slowly getting there, but we're here to do it, and we just want to bring more to you.
Absolutely, and that's what we're going to keep on doing. And so that live interview is with the champ, Yana Kunitskaya, within about 5 or 6 minutes after she had won the title, beating Raquel Pahalui in a complete war. We were fortunate enough to catch up with her and be granted an interview with her backstage. And it's not a really long one, but we got a few minutes of good questions with Yana, fresh off her win of the Invicta Bantamweight title belt. So really excited about that, and we got a couple of recaps first. So why don't we go into that first recap? Would you be ready for that, Doctor, or should we...
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Let's just go over the fights one by one, the ones that really stood out, and we can kind of go into that. If you want to, we can go ahead to that first one. Give us a rundown of that fight and what you thought of that.
Cool.
Real quick, we'll just go ahead and jump into the video here, and the next, I got to cue it up, boys and girls.
No problem, but I'll describe it before we do that. So this first fight we're talking about, which I think was maybe the 4th or 5th fight in the card, it was from Germany, Katharina Lenner, who did miss weight substantially by about 4 pounds, going up against Alexa Connors. And Lenner was undefeated, questioned after missing weight so badly what was going to happen, but she was super confident, I found out, mentioning to people involved in the show that she was going to win this, I think, in a second round KO, which is, I believe, what happened. Very impressive performance. She's got to get the weight in check and make weight next time, so it's an even playing field and a fair fight. But she looks like a very, very talented, serious contender. And let's take a look here at what I saw, or what I had to say right after seeing it.
Amazing fight we just saw with Alexa Connors going up against Katharina Lenner from Germany. The German did miss weight by 4 pounds. Came in, she looked bigger. She took control right away. What was primarily a striking battle was eventually won by a knockout. Nice punch to the lower jaw by the German Lenner, and a dominant performance, emotional celebration, and going out a 6-0 with her first win in the Invicta Fighting Championships is Katharina Lenner from Cologne, Germany. Impressive performance, no doubt.
Alrighty, there was an update there, pretty good. I think captured that in a nutshell. You think so? Would you agree, Doctor?
Totally. It was an exciting fight. Now, and I can tell you, I wasn't nearly as impressed with that fight as a couple of the others. There was Sherry, who was kind of coming out from behind, coming in and doing something great there.
Mm-hmm. Shino Van Hoos also looked pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Action fight there.
So, I mean, there were just so many fights, but that one really, it didn't stand out to me. It was a good one. Mm-hmm. They definitely went to the wall there, and I always forget her last name.
Lenner, Katharina Lenner.
Yeah, she really stuck it out, made it happen, and that was just a fun situation to watch.
Absolutely, and provided a finish. There are not as many finishes in women's fights as there are in men's.
Right.
So this was an impressive finish. With a looks like I remember a right cross, I think, to the lower jaw, right in the sweet spot. Boom, and down the other girl went. So definitely exciting there. So let's go on to what was the co-main event, and you'll see me doing a recap here of the co-main event. What a fight that was. You had Livia Renata Souza, the former atomweight champion who fights up at strawweight nowadays. She was supposed to go up against a guest of ours on the show, Jody Escobar from Jackson Wink, in what was going to be a barn burner for the vacant strawweight championship. But Jody Escobar unfortunately had an injury, and she ended up having a last-second replacement, another Brazilian who was undefeated, Jana Isa Morandin. And this girl came out on fire, throwing punches like a little Mike Tyson. Am I right on that, Doc?
Definitely. And then let's talk about this here in a minute. Let's give these guys a little bit of a recap of the post-fight. They didn't get to see it live with us so much, but we have some awesome footage. So here you go, boys and girls.
As I saw it right after.
What an amazing fight we just had. Livia Renata Souza against Jana Isa Morandin. Absolutely amazing. Jana Isa Morandin coming in like a little Mike Tyson, swinging, hitting incredibly hard, busting up the former champion back and forth. Some amazing scrambles, the grappling going in favor of Livia Renata Souza, but amazing striking and amazing durability and hanging in there by the newcomer Jana Isa Morandin. She'll be around for sure for a long time to come. Very, very tough. Great striker, obviously it's her background, and an amazing give and take. Both women just going back and forth, beating the crap out of each other. Great technique, great skill on its feet, on the ground, back and forth. Finally, a decision won by Livia Renata Souza, but in a really, really great fight. Super exciting. Both women have nothing to be embarrassed about, having fought really hard and definitely beat each other up badly. So it was a really great fight, and happy to be here seeing it. Check it out. More fights to come. One more next, the main event, and we'll be watching that soon.
Yeah, that was a super exciting fight, Colin. I mean, Souza totally just knocked it out of the park. That was a slugfest. Morandin was tough for sure as well. And you were saying something about her coming up off a 3-week notice to take that fight?
Yeah, it was. I believe 2 or 3 week notice when Jody Escobar fell off, and to face a top contender and former champion in Livia Renata Souza was really brave. That was something a lot of people wouldn't do. A lot of people are looking at Livia Renata Souza as like a smaller version of Amanda Nunes. So she is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and for this girl to come, and I think what may have been Morandin's first fight in this country was definitely her first fight in Invicta, and come strong. I mean, she went out there to take Souza's head off. That was crazy, and I think she hurt Souza a couple of times.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Both of their faces were tore up.
Yeah, and Souza had the advantage on the ground, and that's where she started trying to take it. But Souza had been known to have really, really heavy hands. And, as we all know, she usually takes it to her opponent and usually doesn't have any urgency to go to the ground. But this Jana Isa Morandin is just a powerful puncher. She just was throwing amazing leverage on her punches and power. And fortunately for Nunes, being really just a well-trained fighter, technically sharp in every aspect, was able to defend and able to move and able to get it where she wanted to get it. But she was taking some shots. That girl was killing it, throwing these bombs. Yeah. That was just really exciting. And I think Jana Isa Morandin will be back. She didn't win that fight, but she didn't lose it badly. And I think she definitely can compete on that high level at strawweight for sure. Wouldn't you agree, Doctor?
Definitely. I mean, come on. Both of them were...
amazing.
That was one of the tougher fights of the night, if not the toughest fight of the night.
And I think Julie Kedzie was indicating that was what she might have thought as the fight, and I was drawing a blank because I was so impressed with the final fight, but I had forgotten that co-main was just amazing too. So yeah, don't forget that name, Janaisa Mirandin. She will be she's for real, and she'll be around for a while, making some noise, as of course will Livia Renata Souza. So then the main event. What an exciting!
Let's not quite jump into that one.
No,
yet,
okay.
More
thoughts? Yeah, tell us.
I'm sorry that Callie Robinson versus Jacobson.
Sharon Jacobson, right?
That was a surprise.
Yes, it was indeed. Yes.
Not even All-American, Olympian wrestler.
Or alternate. Yeah, she was a world champion amateur and collegiate. Yeah, that was, and she was really, really tough. Now, Robbins did come into that fight 4-0 with all fights won inside the distance. So no one has got, but still, Sharon Jacobson was a fairly substantial favorite, and she came out on fire, man. She was taking it to him. She was punching the crap out of Callie Robbins. And then right there with a hip toss off of punching the crap out of her, and a hard one at that. But Robbins stayed close. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. She stayed connected when she was being thrown. And then from the 2 or 3 seconds after hitting the ground and getting her brain situated, she started looking for that armbar.
And I was sure, though. I was sure that when Jacobson went in for that double leg there, that was over. Honestly, yeah. I was thinking, oh my, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, the throw was pretty impressive too. It was a hard throw, even though Robbins stayed connected. But it just Robbins got hit with like 15 unanswered hard punches.
Yeah.
By Jacobson. And then thrown on top of that, man.
That throw was impressive.
Yeah.
With the Russian armbar and just going straight into the tough throw. And unfortunately, you put yourself into a position as a fighter where you're going to turn around and have that arm open and exposed when you do the Russian armbar. And that's exactly how she got taken out. But to think that quick, I was really impressed by Callie. She did a great job with that.
She really did. She was overcome with emotion. And then she apologized for missing weight herself. She didn't miss it by 4 pounds, I don't think, like Leonard, but by a couple pounds. And she said it'll never happen again. And and I believe her. And she's an impressive fighter, an exciting prospect. 5-0 now with all 5 wins by stoppage. And I believe it's 3 submissions and 2 TKOs. And that's in the women's strawweight division. That's like unheard of.
I mean,
am I right? Most of the women's strawweights have less than a 50% stoppage rate. Right. A lot of decisions, and I know Livia Renata Souza is an exception, even though she did go to a decision, on this particular night. But yeah, at women's strawweight, the smaller girls, not as many people stopping each other. It is happening, but Callie Robbins is definitely making sure that she is branded as a finisher, and will be really exciting to see.
She's going to be one of the funnest fighters, if not the most exciting. I have a feeling she's coming up, and we'll be having her on, boys and girls, in the near future.
Well, we have her on. She's coming on this Wednesday. This Wednesday, September 6th.
Yes.
We have Callie Robbins.
Yes.
Yep. So it's going to be super exciting. We look forward to talking to her and getting to know who she is, talking to that Wisconsin girl and finding out her backstory. So that was amazing, and I agree, really great. And other fights were great too. Like you mentioned, Chino Van Hoos was very tough. And some other people. Let me see if I have a note.
That was a great decision there. I mean, she fought it out. It was tough the whole way through, and it was mostly on the ground, and Chino played off her guard on her back most of it, and it was just an exciting fight. I would love to watch that fight again. It's one of those fights that if you're not an MMA person, you don't understand jiu-jitsu and how that goes. I could see it may not be your fight, but it was definitely a hard-fought battle on the ground, and I could go for a fight like that any day.
Yeah, and there was a lot of action on the feet as well, and she was tough. The other girl, I forgot her last name, and she's from my home state of Michigan, but really tough Michigan top team. She was wearing the gear, and she had the great Detroit superstar Darren Cruikshank in her corner yelling instructions, and she did really well also. And I think she's a younger, less experienced opponent compared to she was. I think she had a total of 3 fights to 10 fights for Chino Van Hoos. So she was impressive, as was Van Hoos. And then from ATT, we had Sarah Klechka. and she looked very impressive. You know, I mean, who isn't going to be impressive at ATT? They just seem to be on a streak of having better and better and better fighters all the time join their roster and just getting, taking everyone to higher levels. And, so she was very impressive. Sarah Klechka, remember that name. So let's talk about the main event. And it was just back and forth. I know both of these ladies really wanted that title that was vacated by Tanya Evinger. That 135-pound Invicta bantamweight title was up for grabs, and they really went at it. And basically back and forth, beating the crap out of each other. Both women were bloodied. I think, as usual, Raquel Pahalui got busted up a little bit more than her opponent, but it almost seems like that doesn't throw her at all.
That was an interesting slugfest as well, and quite frankly, I was expecting it to go to the ground a little more than it did, and it really didn't much. Right. That's because Yana had one of the best game plans. She knew if it went to the ground, it was just not going there.
And who is known for having the best game plans for years, even though some people get annoyed by the great strategy? We're talking about Jackson Wink Academy.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, you may not like them. You may like them. You may love them. You may hate them.
We love them
here. We do. They're great people, and they really do provide great strategies. And it's not. I remember 2-3 years ago, some people were ripping on them, saying the strategies were safety first or boring. That wasn't the case. In this fight, Yana Kunitskaya was going for it. She was taking it to Raquel Pahalui, and it was back and forth, and she just looked like she was on a mission in there, and so let's talk more about that. But you want to go to the interview first, or do you have some more insight before we go to that?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and go to it. The fight was just absolutely amazing, and
incredible.
There's nothing better than a post-fight interview. So here you go
with the new champion.
Yana Kunitskaya, congratulations on an amazing performance. That was really, really great. Was she tougher than you expected, or was this pretty much how you thought the fight would play out?
No, I thought that she will be tough, and maybe I thought that it will be a little bit more hard to defend takedown, but we was working hard, and it was not this much complicated.
Right. Were you hoping the fight would stay on the feet, or were you wanting it to stay on the feet? Because I know your ground skills are really good. It looks like this is what you were wanting, though, more of a stand-up fight, right?
Yeah, it was game plan. I feel very comfortable also in the ground, but we didn't want to have this risk. And as I'm sure that I was a better striker, so it was game plan to try to stand and try to make like knockout.
Yeah. Did she ever hurt you in the fight?
I got some punches, but like nothing serious, nothing what was affecting me.
Excellent. I think you hurt her on a couple of occasions, so that was good. I liked it. And the game plan from Jackson Wink, their strategy is amazing. I have a feeling you followed it exactly the way they wanted, right?
Yeah, well, I had very long time to prepare for Rickels. It was 3 months getting ready. I was training 5 times a day, and I was getting ready special for Rickels. I mean, I was doing striking and submission defense, takedown defense, special for this girl. And I think it's why it was working. I was trying to do 100% what my coach told me.
Yeah, and you did, absolutely. That was a great performance. Congratulations, and we look forward to some great fights from you. You're welcome. Take care. And that was Yana Kunitskaya, the Invicta FC bantamweight champion.
Yeah, so Yana just really, man.
That was the best Yana Kunitskaya I've ever seen. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just the game plan alone was just a beautiful strategy, and then. Man, she was just having so much fun up there, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was dictating the pace. She was taking the center of the octagon. She was controlling it. She was doing damage. She was preventing Pahalui from doing too much to her, although she did take some shots and some kicks to the head. But she looked like she was on an absolute mission. You know what I mean? To win that fight and be the champion. And she just looked like she was not going to be denied. And Pahalui is an amazing fighter that that everyone felt would be in that fight, and I think may even have been a slight favorite to win that title, and was absolutely not doing anything wrong, and but just back and forth, and it just seemed like the fighter that was the larger fighter, and the stronger fighter, and possibly just a whisker more determined, was Yana Kunitskaya. And so it was great. It was incredible. And afterward, Raquel Pa'alui was awarded her black belt by her teacher, her instructor, Robert Drysdale. And so that is fantastic. And she deserves it. Her ground game is so good. She's such a tough competitor. And she didn't get smoked by any means in that fight. That was a competitive fight all the way through, although it may have been 4 rounds. Kunitskaya won Pa'alui. Pa'alui was in that fight, back and forth. They really beat each other up badly. Both women fought with amazing courage and tenacity and determination. So,
for sure.
I was super excited about that fight. And we have a new bantamweight championship of the Invicta Fighting Championship, Invicta FC, and it is Yana Kunitskaya. Good show. All respect to her. All respect to Raquel Pa'alui. They may be seeing each other once again, and I wouldn't mind that at all, would you?
No, I'd watch another one.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, though, I feel like Yana definitely would have been able to even maybe possibly take on our good friend Tanya in that one. I want to stay as unbiased as possible here.
Yeah.
And I could see her coming in and taking that one. I know she lost to her before.
Right, she did, and she wants that back. We heard her saying backstage, that she wants Tanya Evinger back.
Right.
But she knows Evinger's in the UFC. But those two may be seeing each other one day again in the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
I have a feeling. Yana's going to be up there. She's one of the next ones to go.
Yeah.
I think Callie's going to be the first one. But
picked up by the UFC. The doctor definitely has good ideas of who gets picked up by the UFC. We don't always put it out there, but he's been right on a few occasions. And so that's what his thought is. I think his thought is we're going to see Kunitskaya and Callie Robbins in the UFC very soon, which is very, very possible.
All right, and I do have our guest of the day. I'm pulling him up here. We'll be pulling in Mark Dodson here, and we're just going to go ahead and do it live for you, boys and girls, today. So we're going to go ahead and call him.
Let's do it. There's that Skype tone. D-D-D. D-D-D.
Hello.
Is that you, Mark?
It's Mark, all right.
And we have audio, but we don't have video. I think you have to hit a video button.
I'll get you video real fast.
Let's see. Adam, tell me.
Oh, he knows how to do it. We ran over
Excellent.
it. It's going to take a second. Perfect.
There we go. I like it. So, Mark, it's good to see you. Welcome to the show. You are an amazing fighter, proving over 45 years old. You can continue to fight and win. We're going to go all into that, but the key question that everyone's waiting for is, with you being Dodson, why did Dodson become Nissan in 1980 or 81? I know, right?
Well, hey, Crandall Berries.
Yes, I love it. That's a good enough answer. Good enough answer to me. But back on to serious stuff, because I know Dodson, your name is spelled completely different, just in a goofy mood here on a Sunday. But I'm telling you,
John Dodson and I are not brothers. Okay, but I mean we're brothers, but we're not brothers.
I like that. So, Mark, I tell you, I respect you as a guy who's been fighting for many years, and I know you fought years and years ago, and you're coming back here because you were training your son and some other people. And you own a karate school, and so you've been in the martial arts for many years. Let us know a bit of what your background is in combat sports, and you know what you really like about MMA, and what you feel your skills are that are the most exciting and that we should be looking out for in your upcoming fights.
Yes, Colin, I've been in the martial arts, well, basically since I was about 3 years old. My father was a fighter, boxer, and basically an MMA guy. We call it freestyle.
Yep, that's right. Freestyle, free fighting. Yep.
Or whatever you want to call it. So my father, he dragged me out in the yard, and I had a lot of sparring at a really young age, and as well as in the gym with him. and other fighters that like short nosed guys, journeyman types. Mostly fights local in the Northwest. My father was a logger. My grandfather was a logger, so basically I'm a third-generation logger, but I didn't follow through on that necessarily.
Right.
To mitigate. And and so I kind of transitioned into kind of a old school, old style Chung De Kwan karate. Master Son, who was the special forces head of the special forces in Korea during the time my dad was a combat vet in Korea. So he worked with my father. It was he was a divisional boxing champ, and he worked with the special forces that were also trained under Master Sun Duc-Sun. And so the Master Sun Duc-Sun came to the United States and started his school here. Basically, though, I've been a cross-training type of martial arts for a long, long time.
It sounds like it.
Yes, sir.
And you even had some grappling. You were a member of Gene LaBelle's grappling association 25 years back, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I really do have an admiration and respect for those old martial artists that were pioneers, Joe Louis. I mean, several. I mean,
Chuck Norris, Superfoot Wallace. Yeah.
But, I don't leave out my Northwest guys either, Dave Gray, Mike Carroll. I mean, there's so many. Dan Anderson, Mad Dog. I mean, you can just go on and on. This is really bad for martial arts.
Absolutely. And I believe when MMA first came out, when it was no holds barred fighting, you did a few smokers, as they call them, right, where you were doing a little bit of MMA fighting in the early days of the sport, right?
Yes, sir. And then it kind of, we were trying to work it into that. In fact, we did here, even in this town, we had, let's see, I'm sorry. We had several individuals. The wrestling coach at Oregon State and others and we were transitioning in, that we were trying to develop some way we could do this kind of thing. Before it was kind of a kumite type thing, and then we would have so much time and we'd get a guy down to score.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Modified rules, a little bit of modified rules, right?
And then up in Canada, the Tiger Ball Internationals. I think it was like '93 or something. The year slips me, and we were really trying to work into transitioning to something like that. As a matter of fact, I fought up there, and I also refereed like 100 fights of both style.
Cool.
Yeah. You know what? Canadian brothers.
Yep.
And hopefully I'm welcome still up there. You never know.
I'm sure you would be. Now, let me ask you, you own a traditional karate school. Did you start in the 90s to make it more of like a mixed martial arts curriculum there, or was that not done until maybe in the 2000s at some point?
Yeah, I was making the transition definitely in my school, and I'll show you my patch. Oregon freestyle martial arts.
Let's see that.
There we go.
Yeah. Excellent. Oregon freestyle, nice, and that's Dodson's. And let's shout that out so people can find you. Let me see that. So it's Dodson's Karate, and what's Dodson's Karate School, and that's Oregon Freestyle Martial Arts. And where is that located so people can find their way there to train?
Sorry. Yeah, it's located here in Oregon. And there is on Facebook, you can find it. Okay. Really looking to reestablish that freestyle organization, which is basically an organization that encompasses all like-minded martial artists that can also keep their autonomy. Nice. And that kind of thing. And I'm working with Master Rusty Hayes of TacTech, and he's board, and we're really kind of partnering up to reestablish and basically expand this organization.
I like that. So you've got at your school over there, you've got grappling, you've got stand-up, you have maybe like boxing, wrestling. It's all there, right?
All there, bud. Yeah.
Excellent. I like that.
It's right, because, wrestling, boxing, all of the fencing, and this was also stick fight on the inside, 2 times a year, was champ and stick fighter, and I really wasn't much of that. I got some really good trainers, really good people to compete.
Hey, Mark. I do apologize. We got you kind of muffled here, and Skype does this, unfortunately, every now and then. It's not you. It's just Skype itself. So what I'm going to do is right there, just kind of keep your frame of thought, and we're going to drop the call and call you right back. Everything's working this time. It's not you. It's Skype. So I'll have like literally half a second. There you go.
We'll call you. We'll call you right back, because everything was perfect until the last 10 seconds, and we want to keep it perfect. So we'll call you right back and get it perfect. All right. So you're welcome. Okay, so we're gonna get back with Mr. Mark Dodson. A lot of good stuff to say.
And back to our fun little
Skype tone
dance time. You got better dance moves than me, Colin.
Thank you. Excellent.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Mark?
We can hear you better.
All right. All right. Excellent. So let me ask you. I'm glad we got that set. When you had participated in the 90s when mixed martial arts free fighting no holds barred was just coming out, and then I think for many years in between you had kind of gone back to focusing on teaching and training. And I think what happened was when you started to train your son to jump into mixed martial arts and a few other people, you found you were still keeping up pretty well, and then said, hey, I'm going to jump back into this. And that was only, what, a year or two ago?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago there, Colin, and that's exactly what happened. I see that that the skills that I've learned wasn't obsolete, very valuable, and still applied. And, it's really funny that I was able to kind of bring all that to the fruition, or to be able to bring that along, and the things that have kind of been lost, and it's still very valuable. In fact, it gives me an edge,
Yeah. That craftiness and an experience in an MMA fight with so many elements to it, it really does make a difference, doesn't it?
It does. And, I had to fight, when I went open tournaments and stuff, it was me, Kung Fu, Kachikimpo, karate. You just go on and on to who's list of arts. Like Kachikimpo without the Cascos and all those guys. It's just really, really, really rich history that I was lucky to be involved in.
Absolutely. I have an interesting question for you, and I've only asked this to one or two other guests, but I think you would really be a good person to answer. And let me think on this. Got an itch. I scratched my nose there first. That was driving me nuts. Okay, think on this for a second and let me know what your thoughts are. Early on, when MMA No Holds Barred was just starting, every athlete came from a specific background. You had someone coming from wrestling, someone coming from boxing, someone coming from jiu-jitsu, wherever, and that was it. Now, as the years have gone by, they've talked more about the fact that a lot of the younger guys today are actually learning all of the skill sets at once. And I know at first everyone said, this is fantastic. We're going to have super fighters. It's going to be guys that are great at everything. They're going to be great at their jiu-jitsu. Can't even talk here. They're going to be great at their jiu-jitsu. They're going to be great at their wrestling. But then someone presented something interesting to me that made me think. And he said, it isn't necessarily that better, in his opinion, if all these fighters, when they're really young, are learning all the skill sets at the same time, because he said they're not really going to be outstanding then in probably any of them. And so you won't have someone coming in that has a superior wrestling base or has a superior jiu-jitsu or a superior striking base, but other people have disagreed. What's your thought? If you were you've been training your son, and I'm sure you probably thought about this for him, but does it make more sense to you? Yeah. Does it make more sense? And what did you do with your son as far as wanting him to learn all the skill sets at the same time when he was 10 or 12 years old or whatever, or just learning some before others? I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
Well, first off, I feel that, whether it's homogeneous or whatever, that it actually had a better entertainment value. If someone Kung Fu, karate, boxing guy and wrestling, it seems to be really have flavor, and as we see now, by the success of the Gracies and so on and so forth, that the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has really kind of taken over a little bit, but out of those schools, it's great fighters. Then we got Impact, we have a lot of good schools.
Yeah.
And of course, I want to say Rise because I work with them, and we got Justin Zabrowski of Access. These guys are just absolutely excellent jiu-jitsu individuals, such as Master Hayes, and that they were able to really kind of, like you say, have abbreviated versions of maybe some of the other arts of more extensive jiu-jitsu and grappling.
Right.
In addition, Colin, the wrestlers, coming out of college and all that, they're really, really good athletes, and they're just generally tough dudes.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
I mean, think about using high school. Who was the guys?
Yeah.
So, but I think that's kind of catching up a little bit in that guys or the hybrids or whatever have and that kind of thing. There might be a little bit of catch up on that on the wrestlers. And the thing of it is too, then maybe people think that the grappling has dominated somewhat, and maybe because of the wrestlers that have been input like Chelsea. I mean, there's so many, and again, I'm a college Chelsea. Is that it was natural to have that. But I really do think it's going to catch up and be more of a, it might kind of go back to where it was. But again, I kind of feel that might have been lost. I mean, it was just it was very favorable.
Yeah, it was. The style against style matchups in those early days was very, very exciting. It really was. Yep, absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. Your son is just starting his MMA career, and you're both still competing as amateurs, and I think your goal is to work with organizations that do donate to charity. And I want you to talk to more about that because you do have an important cause. And but you know what? Why don't we start out with that? Then I'll ask the other questions I have in mind. Tell us what your thought is and what part of your mission is fighting over the age of 45, but with a really big, important cause at the forefront of your mind. And let us know a little bit more about that.
Yes. I'm working with James Croker Robinson, his Dumont Promotions out of Seattle, Washington, and he's really been working for that charity of autism awareness. People are very loving and talented.
Yeah.
And very valuable to our society, and he's kind of taking the lead on that, and I'm right in there with him.
I like that.
Fight for him, yeah.
Autism awareness, that's very, very important. And
Yes, sir.
And are you feeling like continuing on with that forefront in your mind is going to be what you're going to do? And are you thinking of staying at the amateur level, or are you thinking you're going to want to go pro? I know you fought for many, many years, or do you think you might just continue doing a few more amateur fights and what's where do things stand as far as that, or have you even made a decision on what the future holds for you?
Well, I have become promoted for the World Kickboxing Federation, and then we're looking to really groom and expand the World Kickboxing Federation here in the United States. Very prestigious organization if you're doing research on it. And I'm working with James Croker Robinson in there. And so, with that said, I will continue that, and probably, although I like the cage, I really do.
Right.
But probably if I do go pro, it will be with the WKF. Might possibly be out of the cage. Probably going to fight my own promotion.
Right.
Answer your question. And you mentioned my son.
Yeah.
My son, I really have taken him and put him in different organizations that I felt that he might, it might be of value to him to make him more relevant, well-rounded fighter. One of those organizations is Justin Zabrowski, and who's a pro cage fighter, and Access, and then in boxing, we have worked with we have some really excellent old boxers here, or I should say retired boxers, pros. In this, Boom Boom Martinez is one of my best friends and been for years. George Evans, Mike Hess, I mean, I could go on and on. This has got a rich history, so I've been able to work with those people to get, although I have, I'm very blended skilled, but I wanted to the real pros and get, as well as Jerry Goodman, and when we're talking about boxing, I have to mention him, who had fought Hagler, Hearns,
Nice.
Ali. I mean, he's an old ex drill sergeant, basically master sergeant. And he really wanted my boy to box.
Right.
Yeah, no, my son probably could go pro, and you know what? I probably will too, but I'm a pretty good striker, and I'm a pretty good boxer and all that, and I can grab. There's no doubt about it. I can transition, but. I do like the cage fight. I do like the challenge of it because of really, because maybe kind of the domination of the grapplers. I like the challenge of let's say,
trying to solve
fighting.
that puzzle, right?
Yes, sir. And so I very well could go pro. Yes.
I like
we'll
that.
See. Yes, sir.
I like that. Sorry to interrupt you, Mark. Have you and your son fought on the same card as of yet?
No, but boy, I tell you what, it's come close.
Nice.
And it's looking made. He fights in the KOTC Reno. I think it's September 16th.
Oh wow.
September 16th. He's fighting in Reno, Nevada, for KOTC. Al Dodson.
King of the Cage, right? Yep.
Yeah, and so and Al Dodson is my very good friend of mine. He is also looking for me to fight on that card. Now we've come close.
Right.
And it's going to happen probably. And I kind of would like to fight him.
No, I know.
He should know better.
I hear you.
This is the most interesting fight call out I've ever heard.
I like it. Well,
he better not get in there with me.
No.
He should know.
I think he knows that too. What weight divisions do you both fight in normally?
We're skinny. I mean, I'm about 6'2". My reach is 76 inches. I mean, nice. I'm like, yeah. My son, he's about 5'10". Now we're about 155. 155. I mean, I could fight up to 75, 80, but right. I'm my speed level at this way, and also reach and all those kinds of things, and the kicks, nice. And all those things.
Nice.
It makes me whole lot.
I like that. So you both fight at lightweight 155, although you could go up to 70, and he probably is real good at 155 though, right? Is that the perfect weight for him, you think?
145 too. I think he's going to fight KOTC at 145.
Nice. Wow. That's cool. And what's his first name?
Yeah, his name is Marcus.
I like it. So we want to look out for both Mark and Marcus Dodson. Very, very cool. And I appreciate that, man. Well, all the respect to you, man. I like what you're doing. I like the cause, and it's really important. And I think you're proving that it's not all over when we're 33 or 35 or even 40 or even 45. And so that's awesome, man. I really admire what you're doing, man. You look in great shape. You've been a teacher and a karate school owner for many years, and so I like the fact that you're jumping in there and taking your skills and saying, you know what, I want to see what I can do with this. And I'm all for you, man, and behind you. And I think a lot of us guys over 40 should be cheering for you, and I think they are, and we'll continue to do that. So definitely keep me in touch. Do you have a fight scheduled yet for yourself or not at this point?
Oh yeah. Well, October 7th, I was a fight for Zumot Promotions and kickboxing with the #1 contender at Phoenix Echo. But that might be picked up to April 7th because WKF wants to sanction that fight.
Right.
Well, like again, I mentioned the KOTC and now Dodson, as well as I got to mention my friends at Matt Phillips with Roorda. He's going to have a great promotion in Salem, Oregon, which is going to be boxing, Muay Thai, cage fighting. I mean, you name it, man. It's going to be a real mixed martial arts thing.
I like that. I like that. And let me know when your next fight is confirmed. And what is the date that your son Marcus will be fighting at the King of the Cage Reno?
Yeah, it's September 16th. And some of the other local fighters, Cody and others, they're going to be there too. Part of our,
Nice. And that sounds good. Sorry to interrupt you, but we were losing the volume a little bit. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of great fighters and a lot of great people that you're training at your school, and it's good that you're jumping in there with them, man. So I'm behind you 100%. Well, let me jump to our next segment, and this is going to be pros picked. Even though you're an amateur fighter, you're still an expert from many years as a fighter. So let's get your opinion on some upcoming MMA fights, if that's okay.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
All right, I appreciate it. So let's see what you think about the women's title fight coming up, the one that was called off about 3 months ago when the champ Amanda Nunes couldn't make weight and did become ill, and now she is going to be fighting the woman that she was scheduled to fight then, and we're talking about Valentina Shevchenko. This is a rematch of about 3 years ago. What's your thought? Nunes, Shevchenko 2. How does that play out, and what ends up happening at the end?
Right. Well, Nunes, being from Brazil and what have you, and you really gotta, that she, I think she knocked out both Tate and Rousey, didn't she?
Yep, she did.
Yeah, and both, I think they're both really good fighters, no doubt about it. Of course, I'm going to probably pick. Well, you know what? I'm not so Valentina, but I know I'll go with Nunes.
Okay, and we had a little bit of a sound problem there. It sounded like you were underwater for a second. Adam, is there anything?
There's nothing I can do about this. This is a Skype thing, unfortunately.
Okay.
But you were saying Valentina first initially, and then it started getting really muffled there. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, you're still sticking with that, or are we thinking Nunes?
Sometimes a guy wants to roll, but Nunes, until somebody beats her, you really got to pretty much give her the head,
understandable. Should be a really competitive fight, though. Don't you think that's going to be a real barn burner?
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I agree. And I'm going for the upset, and I'm going to be picking Valentina Shevchenko in the upset.
On there. What are you doing?
Sorry to disagree with you, but hey, I'm not always right, so I very well could turn out to be not right again. But that's going to be a great fight.
Favorite. What can I say?
Yeah, we both agree. All right, next up, how about Neil Magny against the former lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos, jumping up in weight? So Rafael, or RDA as they called him, going up to 170 to fight Neil Magny. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, well, he is moving up, Magny. He basically, what? He's got size and strength, don't you think?
Yeah. Say that again. I couldn't hear it clearly.
Size and strength, and
yeah,
he's pulled off that's old Neil had.
Yeah, he's a really tall, lanky 170, and he's really tough. Yeah, he's pulled off some amazing wins and is tremendously skilled. And then Rafael dos Anjos coming up in weight is going to be giving away significant height, but also maybe the physically stronger fighter. I don't know. What do you think?
Do you think so? Well, I was kind of thinking Magny. I was kind of thinking he was a physically stronger one. But, because I'm a lanky guy,
Right. So you could probably go for the lanky guy in Magny?
I think he's stronger. But you know what?
Yep.
I don't want to fight either one of them, I don't think.
I hear you. Me neither.
Well, maybe
You'd probably I think you'd do better than me. You'd have a better chance than me. That's for sure.
I don't know, Colin.
I think so.
I'm young enough.
That's true.
I'm young enough, guys. Give me a bunch of pizzas.
Yeah, we'll give him a bunch of pizzas here for Adam. Okay, let's jump on to the former Strikeforce champ and former UFC top contender Gilbert Melendez going up against Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. What do you think on that one? Stevens is a banger. He's a banger.
Yeah, he's a banger, and he has a little bit of a problem with distance management stuff. That's kind of a lost art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And that that critical distance and all that.
Really important.
People step in there within the critical distance and bang, and stuff. A guy likes to move and control that distance. You know what I'm saying? But so that's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? It really is. I think that maybe. I'll go ahead.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I think Melendez, if he hasn't really lost a step, and there's a lot of question that he has lost a step, if he hasn't lost a step, he wins. If it looks like he's slow and has lost a step, he could be in big trouble. But his wrestling could come in and save the day. If he can get this fight on the ground and keep it on the ground, that seems to be the kryptonite for Jeremy Stephens. He really wants to stand and bang. And not that he can't do anything on the ground, but on the ground, I think it goes to Melendez if he can get it there. I'm thinking Gilbert Melendez, but in a tough fight. That's my thought. What do you think?
Yeah, Melendez, you probably bum rush him, you know? I mean,
yeah.
You on him.
Yeah.
Because you know, what happened. And so you very well could be right. Again, the distance control factor.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
So that's a hard one to pick.
It is. That should be an exciting fight, huh?
Fighter like, you know, Steven, so I don't know.
No problem. No problem. And then the last one. How about Henry Cejudo against Wilson Hayes?
Well, that's going to be another tough fight.
Yeah.
You know,
very,
clash, don't you think, bud?
Say that again?
They're kind of a clash of style.
It is, yeah, it really is. That's an interesting matchup because you have the wrestling Olympian in Henry Cejudo, and you have the all-world BJJ guy in Wilson Hayes. They're both super strong. They're both you got a grappler against a wrestler, and when you see that, you usually almost end up seeing it being a striking contest. You ever notice that?
Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's true. You know, because it just balances itself out,
right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So who do you think between the two is the better striker?
I would have to that's even tough. I would have to probably give it to Henry Cejudo, but Hayes is really tough. I think Cejudo. I think it stays on the feet. Yeah. I think that Cejudo doesn't want to be on the bottom on his back against the high-level BJJ black belt in Wilson Hayes. Although he's so explosive that even if he is on his back, possibly he can get out. But these are two little tanks. These guys fighting at 125 probably are as strong, if not stronger, than the average man that weighs 175 pounds, 180.
I know, it's crazy, man. So it'd probably go, and I almost have to go with the Olympic route.
Yeah.
Don't have to go. Don't.
Yeah, I think so. But I'd love to see it be close and being I respect the wrestling a lot. Being more of a jiu-jitsu guy myself, always want to see them do good. I'd love to see Wilson Hayes possibly pull the upset, but Henry Cejudo is a really good guy who works hard, and I think more than likely he should win. But I think that should be a really exciting fight, and I hope if they both stay on the feet the whole time, I hope they really go for it. I think they will. They're both really aggressive guys, and I think that's going to be. And not only that, the 125ers. I mean, these guys are blazing fast and throw so many punches and kicks, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. In that speed factor definitely will be a factor. And again, and they can really take a lot of punishment.
Yes.
As lower,
Yeah, they really can. And I mean, the champion of that division is so amazing, isn't he? Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. Is that guy incredible or what?
Again, I've seen Mighty Mouse fight many times, and that's guy. He's just all energy.
Oh yeah, and he's so good at every skill set, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
I mean, who's going to beat that guy? How many? It almost seems like he can keep winning year after year, huh?
He must have. I don't really know what gym with, but they do keep. He definitely keeps in great shape, and he really kind of works his angles too really well. I'd have to, and the way he closes on people.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm a fan of his, no doubt about it.
Yeah, me too. And then, I know we had a great fight, John Jones against Cormier, and Jones, it looks like may possibly be testing positive for a tainted supplement. That's really unfortunate. If Jones is suspended again, that probably would be a couple of years or something. I have a feeling that he'd be out. But man, that sounds so.
They're saying 4 years.
They're saying it might be 4 years. But what an amazing fighter, man. I don't know. I guess things are just difficult nowadays. Do you think a lot of people are taking supplements that should be clean and that really are tainted, or do you think it's a lot of BS as a fighter yourself?
I think there's shortcuts being done. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's tempting. There's a lot of money involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, an older fighter. I mean, I'm not tainted, but it's tempting. I mean, I got to admit, but again, it's taking the shortcut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it does not pay off. I mean, kids don't do it. You know,
No,
but
right.
it's really hard for me to put a fighter down if I'm not in the spot.
Right, exactly.
He paid off his training, Jones, and then he thought maybe he could catch up on the supplements. And that kind of stuff, you're cheating yourself.
Yeah, it's true. And then they were talking about bringing Brock Lesnar back in to fight John Jones, but it seems like Brock Lesnar almost can't fight unless he's on something. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I don't know.
No, I think 265. I think it's really crazy. But again,
Yeah.
I think if that actually happened, Jones would actually win the fight.
Yeah, I would think Jones would beat Lesnar, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do. Just the striking. You know, I don't want to put Lesnar down. You know what? I kind of admire those guys who come out of professional wrestling. They're really put it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta, you know, and what old Punk, you know, and them guys. I mean, I do.
Punk, yeah.
You know, I think that they could probably make it in what they're doing, but they're actually willing to hook it up for real.
I agree. You got to give them credit for that. And Lesnar really did come in and do some amazing stuff, have some amazing fights. You know, having been submitted quickly by Frank Mir, coming back and, you know, just kind of controlling him and pounding him out with a ground and pound. Double tough guy, and had it not been for illness that he had, or had he started younger, he really could have been an amazing fighter. Just like when they would talk about Kurt Angle, what if he would have jumped into MMA back in the day? That would have been something, huh?
Yeah, and Chael Sonnen, you know, there's an example of that kind of.
Yeah, and Chael and Randy Couture were both from your neck of the woods, weren't they?
You know what? Earlier I was trying to say it was Couture out of Oregon State, the coach, and then we were doing that in the tournament. We put an MMA kind of events in. He'd bring his boys in. I was really had some friendships and comrades with those wrestlers over there, and with Couture, man, you know, at Oregon State. Yeah,
that's cool. So was Couture a pretty nice guy in person?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's just very, very nice. You know, and a gentleman. You know, and sometimes people kind of don't see that in Chael. Yep. You know, but Chael, I talked to him like a couple of weeks ago or something. Man, what a gentleman. I mean, that guy, I mean, he absolutely don't carry himself as an egotist or, you know, or I mean, he really is a gentleman. I really do. He's down to earth, another Oregon boy.
Yep.
You know?
And I've heard good things about him, too. I've heard, just like Conor McGregor, a lot of the hype is just that, is hype. And deep down, they're nice guys.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what being a martial artist is about as well. And that's why I like having people on that have been involved in martial arts like yourself. I don't know if you knew, but I also had Benny the Jet Your Kitties. I had Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham on the show. I had Maurice Smith, right? And so I'm trying to make sure we're including guys that had a karate and a kickboxing background like yourself, because there's a lot to be said, right?
Yes, sir. You know, and again, those guys are pioneers. Benny the Jet, like, again, I know I've had probably more interaction with him, you know, like in Vegas and stuff. Oh, yeah? And, you know, again, because he had a similar style as I, you know, I admire him very much. All of those guys, no doubt.
Absolutely. They were amazing. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, I said absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm really excited to be a fan of yours, man. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. Do it as long as you want to, as long as you can, and keep us in touch, man. Let us know when that next fight gets signed that you're in, and we'll shout out support for you. If it's anywhere that I can get to, I'll do it. Can't always get out of California too much. But, you know, let me know, and I know that we'd love to see what you're doing in person and be able to help promote it for the good cause that you're fighting for, and to keep on fighting that and show that you can, and your son as well, man. So you have new fans in me and in our producer here, Dr. Adam Roorda. I'm going to
definitely, Mark, a huge fan already. Keep it up. Keep up this hard work, man. You're an inspiration to me. I'm a young guy thinking about getting back into fighting. I used to do it years ago in the early 2000s, looking to get back into it in my mid-30s. So, you know, I need a little inspiration. A lot of people tell me I can't do it, but I'm thinking about doing it. So,
yeah, I wish I could train with you, but both of you. You know, it ain't never too late.
It's true. You're right, and that's the key.
So I'm young whippersnappers. Yeah.
I like it. Well, I believe in you.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Well, you know your stuff, and I'm behind you 100%. So stay in touch. Let us know when you're fighting next, and and then my producer wants me to do something here.
Oh, yeah, no, I just want to say, Mark, thank you so much for coming on. I do apologize. When you go back to watch us, there's a few areas where it sounds like you're underwater. Check out the comments. Leave information for these guys as much as possible here on Facebook. Let everybody know all about the organizations you're involved in. From what I have read up on, you're quite the philanthropist, and I respect that so much. So any way we can help get the word out, let us know. We are here to help, and just keep up the good work, man. We appreciate it a lot. And Colin, I'll let you
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Stay in close touch, my friend. All respect to you all the time. And let me know what you guys are doing when that fight's signed. And we'll be cheering on Marcus on September 16th, King of the Cage Reno. And, keep up the great work. All right, let's stay in close touch, Mark.
You bet, bud. Yeah. Oos.
Oh, to you as well. All respect. Take care, my friend. Have a good night.
You bet. You too.
Thanks.
Founded in 1969, Fuji Sports is your #1 source for gis and grappling gear, specializing in superb customer service and high-quality judo and jiu-jitsu uniforms at competitive prices. Fuji Sports is a proud manufacturing partner with many established organizations throughout the world, and is also a proud sponsor of U.S. Olympians, BJJ World Champions, and MMA superstars. Fuji Sports offers gis, rash guards, t-shirts, backpacks, shorts, gloves, and more. Visit fujisports.com to buy or customize your own gear today.
And we're back, and Colin's over there drinking water. Otherwise, I would have let him do that. But just a real brief message from one of our sponsors, Fuji Sports. Go to fujisports.com. I get my gi personally from fujisports.com. Get yourself a
mouthpiece. Get some mouthpieces. Get some gear. Get some shorts. Get some rash guards. Whatever you want, Fuji Sports has it.
All at a discount by using at checkout the promo code MMA or
Power Hour.
It's,
put Power Hour in the discount, and you get 15% off of your order of any size from Fuji Sports.
That's me dropping the ball. Sorry, Fuji Sports.
That's
well, we're here to make sure that everybody knows these guys are here taking very good care of us. Also, I want to shout out my own company. I've got to do it every now and then. Colin,
Yep.
Calling the man that's balling. I'm going to shout out iFluxy New Media.
Yep.
We're hard at work improving the studios. We can't do it without the listeners out there. Definitely, just keep tuning in. Go to the Facebook page if you're watching or listening from any one of our numerous outlets. If you're on iHeartRadio, if you're on Ucasters, if you're on ATL Web, any of the companies that are helping out. Hey, you know what? We love you guys. You guys are all amazing. We're starting to branch out, get syndicated. That kind of branches off into our next topic of discussion here. Colin and I were wanting to kind of share a little bit about the vision of our show, because we want to go multiple directions with this. And,
yes.
and Colin has some of his own vision, and I have some of my own vision. And part of iFluxy, when we originally came to an agreement of working out with Colin, we didn't know 100% where we were going. We just kind of let it grow, because with my vision with iFluxy, it was all about the internet, and it was all about live streaming, and we still are. But we've seen so much success from this show, Colin, and I'm so impressed with everything that you've done.
Thank you.
That I'm just super excited to be able to bring this in multiple directions, including the idea of television. We're wanting to really bring this to your guys' television screens. Ucasters will be able to help out with that, from what I know. Now, iFluxy is kind of trying to do the same thing. Friendly competition, but we're helping each other out, and I'm going to keep going that way. But actual television, broadcast television, we intend on getting there. It's going to be a little while. We need your guys' help. We need your guys' support getting the word out. Colin, with that being said, me as a producer, I'm looking to do like a 3-camera shoot, kind of like what we've been doing, but with everybody in one room,
Yep.
a nice staged area.
Couches, comfortable set where the guests can come in person.
Right, and a little better studio. Sometimes you guys can probably hear a cricket in the background. We have a studio cricket that likes to, just yell at us a little bit and say, "Hey, we're here." Hopefully, we're not that boring.
Right.
Cricket sounds.
No, I don't want a cricket. Well, the cricket is saying we're in a state of fluxy, right? So I fluxy. Life is a state of fluxy after all, isn't it? Right? Whatever that.
And I'm Dr. Lionfist. I got the name Doctor from Colin, and we want to keep the entertainment value going on here. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm a doctor in because we're getting too personal. We kind of brought that up in the last episode, but
very, very secret of his personal life. Never want to ask him about personal life. No.
I might kick some ass.
Yeah, that's it.
And I might as well call out people now. Hey, Mike Tyson, let's get in the ring.
Let's make it happen. I love it. Wait a second.
The
weight division and the age difference, but it may work out. You know what I mean? But yeah, all kinds of great stuff. And we have a vision. We do want to be on TV. We're talking to people, but talk is cheap, as they say, until they make a move and get us on TV. But we're talking and we're trying. We could really use your support, because I know we do a great show. If we had people in sitting on the couch and the doctor talking, me talking, we could make it a little bit almost like greatest sports show period, if you guys remember that, where we have a couple other people in there talking, sharing thoughts and everything, and just make it a super fun show with a lot of celebrity guests. And so that's what we're working on. That's what we want. All your support, though, would help and be incredibly instrumental in helping to get us the love, as they say, that we need to make all this happen.
And one of our big things that we're looking to do here, we're talking about the greatest damn sports show and really rocking it out. Now that's just one part of it, because we want to be able to bring to you multiple formats within one live stream, so you guys can watch this. And if you want to tune in for the whole length of it, great. We'll be doing marathons once a week for like 8 hours for one entire segment for a live stream, and then have multiple shows through the week for you. And it's just a nice, easy way to do it. But we do also want to bring you a news format, sports news, with combat sports specifically. So we're looking to get out there, and anybody that is tuning in that goes to fights regularly, get in touch with us. We'd like to be able to, kind of coach you along if you want to invest in it and come on the team. Let's work something out, because we'd love to have people all across the country, all across the globe, to be there, present for the fights, and we could work on getting the press credentials for you. I'd say 8 times out of 10 we can probably do it. 2 times out of 10, not so much. We're not quite there yet, but we will be very soon. So get in touch. We'd love your help. And when I say help, hey, we need it, but we don't. We can figure a way to make it happen. So at the end of the day, we are looking for your support, but we are also looking for sweat equity investors. So people that are willing to put in the work. We'll work out a deal of some sort. That's 100% okay. So yeah, we really want to develop a news aspect to this. We want to develop an interview segment that is strictly here to my man Colin, the man that's balling, because he is one of the greatest interviewers ever. So we've got the interview segments. I love how you do it. You lay it out. You've got your fight predictions and whatnot, and it's all laid out in our previous shows. But
thank you.
The actor studio for fighters.
Yes, that's what I like. Think of that. If any of you guys know or actors or follow that, that's what we're kind of wanting to do. We really care about our guests, and we really want to have them be able to introduce themselves and let you guys and girls get to know them, and so you can relate to them and kind of see what journey they're on. And so many of them have really cool stories about things that motivate them. Yeah, about things that motivate them and what they're trying to do to help people, support family members, take care of animals, people that are sick and dying. And so many of these fighters just have amazing causes, and we'd love to have you get to know who they are. And and they're in a tough and violent sport that we love, but a lot of them have just a lot of love to bring and are really, really super cool people. And so that's what we want to do, is give them a chance to tell us about them and let us get to know them more than any other MMA interview show. So that's something that I really like to do, as well as have fun doing it.
So we also plan on, a super session where we have the extreme superstars and A-list celebrities that will be coming on. We've got a lot of people that have confirmed. trying to figure that out and get schedules straightened away takes a little bit of work. So it's going to happen. We're looking at like up to 8 people actually right now that are like A-lists. So we're extremely excited for that. Now, when it comes to the fighters, we've already been talking A-list. We intend on keeping it that way. We've had on a lot of up-and-coming guys. For some reason, you and I have been blessed and have had the ability to screen first and second. I'm me being the second voice of opinion, but Colin is the first one to say yes. No, he helps figure it out, and then that's not trying to put the pressure on you.
It's okay.
But that's the reality we have to face, because normally we have so many different people, and we've tried to make time this episode for everybody that we could. We had some guests that we were going to have on, some technical difficulties, stuff like that. It happens. It comes up right now. As we start getting away from the live formatting so much, it's going to work out a lot better for everybody. We still will do a live stream version no matter what. We're always going to be doing this, so you'll be able to see us live messing up, doing what we're doing right now, and just having a good time. And Colin, this is going to be a blast for a long time to come, and I think we're getting there now with the show. Really. And also another thing being said, radio. That is one direction we intend on going, with the actor studio portion and with the news portion. So stay with us, guys. Help support us. Help bring in, if you know anybody that is a producer on the road doing combat sports news, let's partner up. Let's make some stuff happen. We're here to really rock it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Dr. Adam Roorda, and we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. Any support, though, anyone that wants to collaborate and help us get to the better show that we want to get for you guys, that would be great. Now, before we go, I'd like to recap yesterday's UFC from Holland. It was over in the Ahoy Arena, or something like that. Yeah, Ahoy there. So let's talk about what we're looking at here. We saw the debut of Zabit Magomed Sharapov. I think he's a friend or trains with Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the Dagestani fighters. Absolutely amazing, long, lean, lanky guy, but very, very strong and skillful. And he did submit a very tough Mike Santiago, so a lot of potential here. Look out for Zabit Magomed Sharapov. Rustam Khabilov coming back in a very, very tough fight against Desmond Green, and they're both tough fighters for sure. Green will be back. Khabilov gets the win this time by decision. Leon Edwards, a very tough balanced fighter, did beat Brian Barberena. I thought we may see an upset with Barberena. He gave it a hell of a shot. Just Edwards just a little bit quicker, but Barberena will be back, and Leon Edwards definitely a lot of great things coming from him. Marion Renault, who we've talked to and should be able to have some time to be on our show here very soon, came off looking great at 40 years old, mentioning that 40 is the new 20, so she feels great, and she did stop a very game and tough fighter, last name Bernardo. Forgive me, I forget Miss Bernardo's first name, but Bernardo was very tough. It was supposed to have been Jermaine Durandamy. Fight didn't happen, and Renault had to all of a sudden prepare for a really good grappler, stopping Bernardo, I think, in the last few seconds of the fight, which was amazing. And Marion Renault is very tough and for real. Then we had the return of CR Bahadurazada. Very, very, very tough guy, stopping Wilkinson, and a lot of people cheering for him. He had a lot of fans from his home country, and also from Holland, where I believe he spent some time training as well. And CR Bahadurazada winning that fight against Wilkinson, looking great. CR is a hell of a nice guy, I've heard. So great to see him winning again in the UFC. Main event, we did have Alexander Volkov stopping Stefan Struve. I really thought Struve would win that. I like Stefan Struve. I thought he would be able to get it to the ground, but he wasn't, and he just kept on getting popped by Volkov. A funny thing in that fight was I think I went live and actually said the words before that fight happened, a few days earlier, I said, who is Volkov going to get to train with that could mimic Stefan Struve, unless it's either Semi Schilt or a basketball player? And I said, and I don't think Semi Schilt is going to be helping him. and I look at Volkov walking in to the octagon, and I see a guy like 7 feet tall, and it's Semi Schilt, and I'm like, come on! How is Semi Schilt, the Dutchman, helping the Russian fighter to go against his fellow Dutchman? Now, I don't want to talk trash. I don't want to get on Semi Schilt's backside, but I never thought that Volkov would have been able to get Semi Schilt just because of Semi Schilt being probably close to 50 years old now, and maybe just not wanting to jump in or do anything, although I'm sure he still could, and also the fact that he was Dutch, and I would have thought maybe, if anything, Schilt would have helped Struve. But hey, we're all people, doesn't matter. He obviously had some connection, or they requested and were willing to pay a lot of money to bring him in, and that probably made a lot of difference. So that was kind of ironic. Do you think, Doctor?
That's awesome. Yeah,
they brought in the former world K1 champion, 7 feet tall, to mimic the 6'11" to 7 foot tall Stefan Struve. Yep,
man,
tell you, that was too much. So that was a really good fight. I hope and think Struve will be back. He looked very discouraged, but he fought tough.
Colin, we don't talk about these things on air so much, but might as well. You and I seem to call a lot right.
Yeah, we do. In that one, though, I was definitely calling that they would have needed to have Semi Schilt. I called the fight wrong, but I called the fight wrong. I thought Struve was going to win that fight. But
I think there's something special, and we'll get into horoscope stuff some other time. But Colin and I are right in there. We have this little antenna beam up
radar,
here, and we're able to kind of see into the future, I guess.
A little bit. Yeah, we do see some things like that, and to see Semi Schilt there, that was definitely a trip. You know what I mean? But what can you say? But so that was a good fight in Rotterdam, in Holland, the Netherlands. Amazing crowd. They were super appreciative of everything that was done. What an amazing country, also with combat sports. People like Bas Rutten and Marloes Koenen having been two of the early representatives in MMA. Before that, so many legendary kickboxers, the legendary Dutch kickboxers.
There's something in that water. It's just Dutch blood.
Yeah, that's right, because that's your background. Yeah.
Well, I was adopted into a Dutch family and raised in a Dutch town in the middle of the country where they have fake canals and a giant windmill to pay homage to the motherland. It's one of those things. There is really something in the water. Everybody's built bigger, a lot taller, larger frames. The athleticism is really up there. There's something about the Dutch. There really is, just in general, all across the board with every single sport. But in combat sports particularly, it is just so heavy with Dutchmen that are really just annihilating people.
It's steeped in their history with the Ramon Deckers and Rob Caveman, all kinds of people like that, just so many great Dutch fighters, and they're amazing and cool people too. I think for the most part the Dutch are pretty cool people, good sense of humor, right?
No,
well, you are, and he's one of them. He doesn't want to sound like he's being, conceited or cocky.
Who are we kidding? I'm feeling myself. But at the end of the day, here, come on, hey, Conor McGregor, I'm right in your weight class. Let's fucking fight.
I love it. I like it, man. Well, AJ McKee, I think, said that one before you, so we'll let AJ McKee.
He's been fighting. He actually stands a chance.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I know what you mean. AJ McKee is pretty badass. He looked really good in that fight.
No, he really stands a chance. I think he can do it.
Yep.
I want to give a huge shout out to other Iowans out there that have come on air and really represented. Jordan Young, we'd love to have you back on again here in the near future. We've also had on Pat Miletich a couple times, good friend of the show. Really speaks well about us. And Pat, you know what? Thank you. Thank you so much. We
for sure, Pat.
Are out here hitting the pavement in a lot of ways, and we are growing. You guys can tell with our guests. Colin's doing a great job reaching out. I'd like to think I am too, but I'm not doing anything Colin is. So
that's not true. You're doing a lot.
Well, it's more in the production side, and it takes a lot of time. And we do apologize, me especially, production-wise. We have the capability as far as the know-how. We could really do anything. We just really need to increase our viewership, our listenership. It is exciting. It's getting more exciting. As you can tell, our layouts are getting more fun. Our production capabilities are actually stepping up.
Yep.
Like to thank everybody that supported everything that we've been doing. And we really should shout out Combat Press while we're here talking about
absolutely.
Rob Tatum over at Combat Press is really helping out a lot and bringing a lot of credibility and credence to everything we're doing. Rob, thank you so much. It's because of you that we've been able to do a couple different things here, and we're very appreciative.
Absolutely. Really appreciate it, Rob. Combat Press is the place to go, guys, for a website that is for the fans of combat sport and all combat sports. And they are really they're established, but they're getting bigger and bigger, and just a really, really great website to go check out, run by really cool people.
I'd say the best website when it comes to information. And you know, I've been searching all the different websites out there, and you know, I'm not even going to name them off, but a majority of them are run by the same company, which is annoying. And that company is not really, I don't know, they're clickbaity.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of clickbait. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I hate that clickbait.
Yeah. And there's really only 2 websites out there that are of value, and we might as well shout out Keurig Genis as well.
MixedMartialArts.com.
Yes. And that's one of the valid ones. There's one other one. I don't want to get into that one, but you know, maybe I'll give them a shout out when they decide to partner up with us, because we do actually have somebody that wants to talk to us about that. So but Combat Press, really, boys and girls, if you want the information, some of the best insight, some of the most accurate predictions out there, other than my man Colin's and my weird radar that I have, you know, really, Combat Press is the place to go. If you're a bettor, I'm not a gambler. I don't condone it, but I also, whatever, if you do it, you do it. I'm a libertarian, so I'm going to live with that. But
exactly.
Go ahead and do whatever you do, and you know, if you are looking to bet, Colin and I are probably your first stop. Combat Press your second. Look for anything written by Rob Tatum. He is one of the most knowledgeable men in the sport. He sits next to some of the most viable names, press side and just cage side. Definitely stay tuned to anything he has to say. Anything else with Combat Press, just read up. For those of you new to the sport, combat sports, MMA, karate, judo, if you do any of these, or if you're just starting to get interested in the concept of MMA now that we've had this huge circus go on recently with the McGregor-Mayweather fight, definitely just check out Combat Press. Great place. We're your first stop, they're your second, or vice versa. It doesn't really bother me either way, because you'll find us there. But yeah, Combat Press. And then also, I really want to shout out all my Iowa peeps.
Yep.
Just left and right. You guys have been really supportive of the show, really helping out. And then all you fighters that are coming on, I appreciate it so much. And I can be thankful all day and thank every single person, my mom, my dog, I can say my dog now. I got one.
You do? That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Hopefully you can meet the puppy here in a little bit.
That would be cool. We got all kinds of great people with Dr. Adam Roorda, puppy, beautiful girlfriend, you know. Indeed. All kinds of awesome things going on for the doctor. I have my usual awesome things going on too, but right now they're too private for me to disclose. What are they? Anyway, no, I have great things going, of course, and I'm really glad that you guys are here. Glad to have Dr. Adam Roorda. We have a great show coming up for you. As we mentioned, we're going to have a great 10-minute interview that was conducted live after the Invicta fights with Julie Kedzie. We're going to have an interview here that will be live with Callie Robbins as our guest. Yep, and we've got a couple more guests we're working on that we're going to nail down. So we're going to have a couple more guests, or at least one more. It's going to be a really great show Wednesday. So be here, the same bat time, the same bat channel, as the old Batman show would say, at 6 p.m. Point. Be right here. And 6 p.m. Pacific. Unless there was anything else for Dr. Roorda I want to thank him for being involved and for everything he does. We're going to make this show great with the help of all you guys and girls supporting. We really appreciate it. We consider you guys friends even more than fans, but we're going to keep doing everything we can. Yep, all respect to you. And so, as I usually say in closing, if I can talk here, and I really do mean it sincerely, though, it is tough out there, and if you can find the wherewithal to go out and look out for yourself, be good to yourself, take care of yourself, but also do the same for your friends, your loved ones, your brothers and sisters, someone at work, a neighbor, someone that could use a friend. A positive word doesn't cost us anything to as they would say years ago, to lay on someone in this terms of the 60s. It put some positive words down, throw some down, and it'll really be appreciated by a lot of people. Be